Hi guys, welcome to my floor. Oh, I got something in my eye. I attempted to put some makeup on and not look like a crazy person, but my eye's red because I don't know why. And my dog scratched my face, so get that dressed right now. Let's jump into the video. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have been buying more books. Because that trip to visit Naomi in Virginia wasn't enough, apparently. Because while we were down there, we were discussing my library book barn, which we haven't had a library book barn haul in a very long time because it's been closed. And I love the book barn. One, it supports my local library, and two, every book's $1. So one of my favorite things to do would be to stop there like once a quarter and just browse the shelves, and whatever cash I had in my pocket that day, I would buy that many books. So while I was with Naomi, we were talking about the library book barn and how much I missed it, and she was like, well, have you checked to see if it's open? And I said, well, not in the last couple weeks. And it opened up in the very beginning of May, and I'm so excited. So I have a library book barn haul, and I also just have like a bunch of books over here that were sent to me by various publishers and a few books that I purchased on my own. So we'll go through those, but first let's go through the library book barn haul because I love the library book barn and I'm just so happy it's back. It's the best thing ever. Every library needs a book barn, and I don't know why they don't have it. I will start at the top of this bag. I got a copy of The Secret History by Donna Tartt because I really liked The Goldfinch, and I know that a lot of people really like The Secret History, and I wasn't really impressed when I listened to her reading a part of it, but for $1, I'll give it a try. It's also like this weird shape, so this is the next book I have here in the pile. It's the story of Edgar Sawtelle, and I just feel like it's like really skinny and tall, but anyway, whatever, it was $1. So anyway, this is a book that I know nothing about. Naomi and my other friend Lacey have agreed to read this. The lady at the book barn was like, this book is so good, but I don't know anything about it. But why I bought it is because Naomi and Lacey are reading this, and we saw it everywhere when Naomi and I were shopping. Everywhere we went, there was this book. And I was like, no, I'm not reading this stupid book with you. It's big. I don't know what it is. I don't want to read this book. And Naomi's like, oh, come on, read this. I'm like, no. And then what do I see at the book barn? This stupid book. So I felt like I couldn't avoid it anymore. So for $1, I'll read the stupid book. I also picked up a copy of Magpie Murders because I really miss reading mystery, and this is by the same author that wrote the Moriarty book that I also picked up from my shopping trip with Naomi, and it just sounds really, really good. So I guess it's about a best-selling crime writer and his editor, and then one day the editor receives the last manuscript from this detective series. She realizes that, and as she's reading it, she's realizing that there's actually like clues to a real murder, I guess. So it sounds really good, and I'm in the mood for that. I picked up Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood because I'm just slowly collecting all of her books when I see them. I've never read any Margaret Atwood, but I feel like she's going to be the kind of person where I'm going to want to read other things. So I'm slowly building up my catalog. I picked up a copy of The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I think I have a duplicate copy now of, I also got Tender as the Night, which is not the one I needed, but whatever, because I got Tender as the Night and The Last Tycoon. I got a bind up of Tender as the Night and The Last Tycoon, but now I guess I have Tender as the Night in this copy. I'm kind of a little mad I didn't get the other ones now because I kind of like these hardback copies. I've been on like a classics kick in the tail end of this reading 50 books in a month thing, which it's the last day of May and I'm on my last book. We're gonna do it. So anyways, more classics. I picked up East of Eden because I was watching Uncarly, and she read East of Eden for some reason. I don't know, she does read celebrity people, I don't know because I'm old, but she read East of Eden and she really enjoyed it. And I've never read any Steinbeck outside of Mice Men, which is the classic that they make you read in school. I did not read The Grapes of Wrath, which he's just called The Wrath of Grapes, which just sounds like a horror like a cheesy kids horror show where just angry grapes chase you. But anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to actually see what this is about. So if you start seeing more classics on here, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna do a video with like my top 5 like easy to read classics to get you into reading classics, because I actually think there's some value to reading them. I think they help you, one, understand a lot of where other authors have drawn inspiration. They help you understand like socially, like where we may have been. Yes, there is a lot of stuff that doesn't age well that comes out of classics. There's a little bit of like acknowledging that and also kind of taking that as just part of, you know, the language of the time. But I can't excuse the hatefulness that comes out in a lot of these things. If you understand it within the lens of, you know, what 1820, I'm just picking a year, may have been like, you probably would understand why something was said so freely. I'm rambling, but I guess unless the text is specifically hateful and is just about being hateful, I find value in classics. As long as you still need to point out the things that are aging like milk. I picked up a copy of Catch-22 because I have owned this and unhauled it many times in my life and have yet never read it. So for $1, I will get it and not unhaul it this time, and I will actually read it. I think those are all the classics I got from this haul. And then I got a copy of Where the Crawdad Sings because everybody loves this, including the lady at the book barn who was like, you must read this. I guess it's kind of like a southern murder mystery gothic thing. I'm excited to read it. I got The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, which is a classic and people absolutely love, and now there's an Amazon show and I just feel like I need to read it, and why it's $1, of course I'm gonna get it. I picked up a copy of the Scorpio Races, which is one of 2 YAs I picked up. I'm moving a little bit away from YA right now. It's kind of making me sad a little bit, but I've heard a lot of people who really like this. I guess there's like some weird race where you have to survive and blah 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 blah. It's supposed to be like really really good and fun. I don't know if they actually made this a series or if it's just the first one, and or what Maggie Stiefvater is doing with this series, but I figured for $1 I'll give it a try and see what people liked about it. I picked up a copy of Firefly Lane because, again, for $1 I'll read this. I've only read one Kristen Hanna, and that was The Nightingale. I have The Great Alone, which I've heard is really, really good, and I will cry. So I figured I'd pick up Firefly Lane, and it's in beautiful shape. Like, I don't think anybody actually read this book. I think they just donated it, which is cool by me. Like, that's fine. And then I picked up this because it just sounded cute, and again, it doesn't really, I mean, it looks like someone may have read this, and I still think that this is YA. I don't know why it wasn't. Because they used to separate out YA and adult, and they don't do that anymore. It's also got paint on it, but whatever. It's called The Love That Split the World. This girl meets boy, they're in high school, he's a football star, blah, blah, blah. Cheesy stuff. But then I guess when they kind of fall in love, like time breaks or something like that, and the world starts to split apart and weird stuff starts happening. It sounded like it could be fun to read, and I was like, you know, that sounds like a good lighthearted time. And that was my $13 library book haul. So now, more book hauls. Things that I bought myself. So I did go on a little shopping spree because we happened to be in the town of Ridgefield. It's just a nice little town, getting some things to help me with my arm, which is way better, and I'm going back to work tomorrow. I'm scared and also excited. But anyway, they have a beautiful little, like super small independent bookstore. That's great. And so I picked up a couple things. I picked up a copy of Clara and the Sun because I loved this. And this is the first Kazu Ishiguro. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at names. You know this if you've been here for more than like 2 minutes. So I read this and I loved this, and I keep going back and like I find my mind wandering back and thinking about this. So I just listened to it on audio. I had no copy of it. It just happened to be available. So then I saw it and I kept debating on whether or not to pick up a copy because hardbacks are really expensive in indie bookstores, and I was like, screw it, I'm getting it. And then I got myself a copy of The Remains of the Day, which is like his original Nobel Prize winning like book, and I need to read this. I'm really excited, like super duper excited about this. I just find his writing is just, you kind of get lost in it, at least in Clara and the Sun. So I'm excited to see where it kind of started and keep reading him. So I got those two. I also got 2 Virginia Woolfs because I reread Mrs. Dalloway and I read Orlando this month, and I'm just a little bit fascinated by Virginia Woolf. I just find her very interesting, so I just want to read more of her books. And Orlando and Mrs. Dalloway could not be more different. They really could not, and they were very good. Anyway, so I got a copy of To the Lighthouse and A Room of One's Own. So A Room of One's Own is the landmark inquiry into women's role in society. To the Lighthouse is made up of 3 powerfully charged visions into the life of the Ramsay family living in a summer house off the rocky coast of Scotland. So I'm excited to read more of her work. I just find her very interesting. I've been searching for Haruki Murakami books, and I really want Norwegian Woods, which is really hard to find. I've been trying to find them used and not used, but he's very popular, and it's hard to find books by him for cheap. But anyway, I did pick up one book from the indie bookstore, Men Without Women, and I'm excited to read this. I guess this is a bunch of different short stories, so I'm excited to read this. I want to know what the deal is. Like, I know a lot of people really like him. I know that he gets sort of some criticism for how he portrays women, but I'm kind of interested in learning more about him. And then my favorite thing that I picked up is I picked up a signed edition of Anthropocene Reviewed, and by John Green, the Anthropocene Reviewed. The new John Green. I can't speak. We know that. It's signed. I'm really excited about it. I have the audio, and I can't wait to read it. I'm just like waiting for the best time to read it, and I don't know what that's going to be, but it's not during Read Like Lacey, because I'm too distracted with all these books. Separately, I purchased a copy of Ulysses because I've read my first James Joyce, and Naomi and I want to start doing this thing with TBR Lowdown where we tackle difficult classics, and I mean, what better than Ulysses as tackling difficult classics? I'm not sure when we're going to start this, but we will announce that, so follow us on TBR Lowdown if you're not already following us, and we will announce this project when we start it. I also picked up a copy of 1Q84 by Murakami, and we're going to read this. At some point, we're going to read this with TBR Lowdown, so I'm excited to get to this chunky little beastie there. And that's like literally everything I purchased for myself this month. Yeah, like so little. Anyway, and then I've gotten some books from different publishers and for different book tours, and I'm not sure I know which one's a book tour and which one's just from publishers because I have not done my list for June. From Tor.com, I got 2 novellas from Catherine Valenti, and I got Comfort Me with Apples, and I got The Past is Red. Comfort Me with Apples is coming out in October, I want to say. Yeah, in October, and it says it's a new thriller for fans of Gone Girl and the Spinning Silver, which we all know I hated Spinning Silver, but it does sound really good. There's strange things that happen, sounds dark. Like, I love Tor.com's novellas. I find them really good. And then coming out in July, this is about like a dystopian future, which I'm all for. The future is blue, endless blue, except for a few small places that float across the hot, drowned world left behind by long gone fossil fuel guzzlers. So this is, your post-apocalyptic water world moment. So I'm really excited for that. Oh, I forgot that I also bought myself a copy of La Galga, which I have to make Jesus read to me because it is in Spanish, but it's a graphic novel about a woman who adopts a greyhound. And the art is really cute. And I cannot wait to have Jesus read this to me. I've tried to read it myself. I don't speak Spanish. Maybe I'll make it a project. Maybe I'll try to figure this out. I don't know, but I had to have it. And then I know some of these are book tours, like The Love Song of Ivy Harlow is a book tour, and I'm excited about this. This is a female romance. Off Trail, I'm not sure if I remember what this is about. A laugh out loud coming of the age story of one teen's preposterous experience in a wilderness therapy program. I think this is for a book tour. Yeah, this is for a book tour. The Color Within by K.M. Lashley. Morality, love, humanity, blood, judgment, family, hope, trust, stranded fear, peace, war, trauma, wisdom, survival, lineage, lost, hate, path, balance. That's what it says on the back of this. Oh, I've never opened this up. So there's a thank you from the author. That's cool. And it's for a book tour, so I know that this is for a book tour. And I feel like one of these is for a book tour, but I can't remember. I feel like this might be for a book tour, or I asked for it and I don't know. But I got a copy of The Wolf and the Woodsman from, who publishes this? From Harper Voyager. I got a copy of The Wolf and the Woodsman, which just sounded really fun. Again, with Naomi Novik and Spinning Silver, we all know how I feel about that. This is an unforgettable debut inspired by Hungarian history and Jewish mythology, and follows a young pagan woman with hidden powers and a one-eyed captain of the Woodsmen as they form an unlikely alliance to thwart a tyrant. It's also beautiful, so I'm really excited to try this. I do like other fairy tales, not the fairy tales that we may be like very familiar with. I did get a copy of this. Orbit did reach out to me and asked me if I wanted a copy of For the Wolf, which sounded completely amazing. The first daughter is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf. Like, ooh, I can't wait. William Morrow sent me a copy of Our Women in Moscow, which I like. I love this author. I think her name is Bertrice Williams, and I've read one of her books before. She does a lot of historical fiction books, and this is about Cold War espionage and family devotion. Totally for that. And I got another Paul Tremblay from William Morrow, and this is The Little Sleep. Last month I got No Sleep Till Wonderland, so I thought that these would be fun little thrillers to read over the summer. I also had Hachette sent me a finished copy of Where Hope Comes From by Nikita Gill, and I have, oh, this is beautiful. I actually haven't really looked at this. I have the arc of it, but there's art in here, and it's absolutely stunning. So this is a book of poetry that I need to read, but it is beautiful. I'm really excited for this. William Morrow also sent me a copy of The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I guess they're coming out with a lot of reprints of his books in paperback, and this is actually really pretty. So I'm excited to have that because I don't really own a lot of Neil Gaiman. Somebody sent me this. Oh, Scribner sent me an arc, Yours Cheerfully by A.J. Pierce, which comes out in August. This is a new novel about a plucky, aspiring journalist during World War II. This is about a cult, and this was sent to me by Scribner as well, and it's Better to Have Gone, Love, Death, and the Quest for Utopia in Auroraville. And I mean, I am all for anything about cults, and I keep forgetting that I was sent this, and I really want to read this. And this comes out in July 20th to be exact. This is a transfixing masterwork spanning time and continents that probes an unsolved family mystery and portrays a utopian community striving to create a better world. I don't know about you, but I love like true crime. I love things about cults. I'm here for this. From Grand Central, they sent me a copy of The Glorious Guinness Girls, which just looked really pretty and fun. Meet the Glorious Guinness Girls. Their glamorous lives fascinated a nation, but who pays the price of privilege? This is set in the 20s. It's an unforgettable novel about the haves and have-nots that will make you ask if where you find yourself is where you truly belong. And I thought that would be fun. I'm kind of enjoying, well, first of all, I love anything set in the 20s, and I'm kind of enjoying moving away from sort of, I don't know, I think I read too many like really messed up books between April and May, so like I'm looking for like lighter reads to pop in throughout. I got a copy of the Rose Code in one of my unplugged box, and sorry, dog hair everywhere. Scribner sent me, and this comes out in July 13th. This is called The Startup Wife. Scribner sends me a lot of books that I don't ask for. When newlyweds Asha and Cyrus build an app that endeavors to replace religion, they have no idea they will soon be running one of the most popular social media platforms in the world. Interesting. And this I received from Grand Central as well. It says Better, Not Bitter, Living on Purpose in the Pursuit of Racial Justice by Yusuf Salaam, one of the Exonerated Five. And this, I know that who read this? Lacey read this, and this is his story. He tells his whole story from growing up in Central Harlem to everything that happens, including being vilified by the nation. I feel like it's going to be a difficult read. You know, he was wrongfully incarcerated for 7 years and then gets justice. This is going to be heavy. I just need to read it, and I haven't read it yet, and I'm really kind of excited. From what I understand from when Lacey read it, the only thing she didn't like is kind of how it jumps, like the timeline jumps around a lot, which I guess could be frustrating, but I'm excited to hear his story. And then finally, I'm really excited about this. Penguin reached out to me and asked if I wanted a copy of Amanda Gorman's The Hill We Climb. They made a special edition, and they sent me this beautiful box and this beautiful edition that comes in this little slip jacket that actually like has the poem written, and it's just a beautiful copy of The Hill We Climb. That was everything else I got in May, and I should probably read some of these. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe, like, all those fun things. Share with your friends. If you've made it this far, leave down below Book Barn, and I will hop on and say hello. I'm sorry if you've heard my stomach growling. I need breakfast. That's it. I'm gonna go eat. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys in my next video, whatever that may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me, trying to find another way to say this, but